just looking at my material here, I'm gonna cross off a lot of it about being a senior age lesbian. So I'm gonna cut this down in half, but I guess we got that covered. But are you guys having fun? This is fun. This is fun. We're all together. I'm sounding like my mom now. That's what she would say. We could be walking the dog or huddling in a bomb shelter. It's like, but we're all together. It's fun. Should we open some Prosecco? No, I'm in a good mood. Feeling proud this year. I got married and I have a son coming on the way. Yeah, we did our wedding a little less traditionally. Like, kind of wanted to challenge some of the status quo of wedding culture. So, we didn't do any like grand receptions or wedding parties with big balloons. And like real social justice warriors, we honeymooned in France before our wedding. Doing our part. But, yeah, so I have a son coming, and, it just took me 35 years to really get there and figure out how contraception really works and not to need it anymore. So, but yeah, getting ready to prepare myself, for, put someone else's needs ahead of mine, and so for like the next 10 years until he can drive and get his own cigarettes. And then my part. But my bachelor days are over for good, which I'm happy about. I used to be, that not too long ago, that bachelor who was hardening my character and, getting gains, cold plunging. Now I'm as soft as the 2 domestic cats I now own, and I love it that way. I do. And no more getting in the same relationship. I kept kind of getting the same bad ones, like trying to change a bad habit, like texting and driving. Like, my concentration got lured away from a second. I rolled over, saw to someone again I shouldn't have. But, and dating's a lot of work too. Like, I don't know how many times I groomed my whole body just for it to never be seen. It's like the tree falls in the woods and no one's there. It didn't even happen. I know on those sad nights, though, you could hear the sound of one hand clapping, though. That was for sure. That answers that, Zen Cohen. But my wife has been such a trooper through the pregnancy. Her latest symptom is lightning crotch. It's pretty self-explanatory. This crotch hurts a lot, among many other things. And it's, it's been bonding for us to get through it with all the, mood changes and like sugar crashes and napping. I think it's just because we have so much more in common now. But it's my kind of job to make sure I'm like taking care of her and like I have a cookie. If she's having a sugar crash, it's a bit of an emergency. It happened to us on a flight to Toronto, and I said, "Is there a baker on the plane?" Sometimes I also gotta help her with the pregnancy grumpies. They can kind of build up, so she needs an outlet for it. So I'll be on the phone with TELUS at the call center, and I'll just be like, "Yeah, I got George from India here. He has something to say about those surcharges," and there's all that lightning crotch can come raining down on George. You guys doing this family service. Sometimes I leave my phone on roaming just so, I can get those charges again. It's nice to be able to throw around the pregnancy card. That's cool. I have to say, she's with child. You get a certain kind of social respect. Finally, I'm getting brunch tables in Victoria again. Also, in this year, we bought a house. Which is a big deal. Not easy to do. Tell you, I just invested a little bit each day in seducing my rich fiance to buy us one. You could start tomorrow. And before you judge me for being some gold digger, I did not know she had money when we started dating. I just dated her because I thought she was hot. So, you guys can get off my back. But exciting thing about owning a house, finally get to do renovations on it. I always wanted to kind of like work on my own house. And, just with these 2 hands, I called up a guy who knew what he was doing. I was like, "Get over here." I tried to do something, like I ripped up the carpet in the downstairs. I was going to put new flooring down, and got to the first real problem. It was like uneven concrete. I was like, I'm totally out of my league. If I was baking a cake, I basically just like cleaned the counter, put the baking sheet on the table, and I was like, all right, I'll let you finish this up here. Well, I hope I'm going to be a good dad, you know? It makes me think about my dad. He was he was pretty good. He had his faults too, but he was a really confident guy, a real charmer, kind of like a guy's guy. Boomer generation, loved hockey and meat and potatoes, cars and stuff. But it was a bit of like a house of cards, so like the kind of the confidence. Like if you took my dad and you put him in like Costa Rica for a day, he'd be like, "There's no Wendy's here, and they don't have my type of cigarettes. What's happening? Something's happening inside of me." Dad, that's anxiety. Like, no, it's the weird food or something. That's fruit. Okay. But I can't blame him though. I mean, like that generation just didn't have a whole lot of like psychoeducation and like, you know, awareness of that stuff. So the average boomer is just first coming around in terms of like, oh, maybe there is something to this childhood stuff that's affecting me. I should look into that. Whereas like the newest generations now, like their first words are trauma. All right, time for my glass of Prosecco. Thank you, everyone.